Hey everyone, it's Dylan with ADV here, and I'm going to be going over some of the most powerful subwoofers in 2017 that are on the market. Um, there will be some honorable mentions just for the fact the subwoofers haven't been released yet, or I don't have a good enough understanding of what the actual RMS continuous power, big tip on continuous power, I'll put at the sub. The reason I'm making an emphasis on continuous power is I want the most powerful subs that you can play on an everyday basis and are still, I'm not even going to say musical because a lot of them are actually more SPL set. These are going to be mostly like the loudest subwoofers you can physically find on the market right now. Okay, the first two subwoofers on my list are going to be honorable mentions. The first one being the EMF Audio Ermigerd V2 with a price of $1,250. The reason this one is on the list of honorable mentions is because it hasn't been released yet, and I'm not sure when they're planning on actually releasing it. It's a 6,500 watt RMS continuous power. You can run on that all day and it will still run just fine. I'm not sure, when it's going to be released, and that's why it's an honorable mention. The other honorable mention is the Atomic Series Extinction Level event. I have no idea what the price is on the subwoofer. I haven't been able to find anything on the subwoofer, but it has the reason this one's an honorable mention and not probably the most powerful subwoofer on the list is I can't find an a reasonable RMS range continuous power. They only have a 3-second burp listed, and the 3-second burp is listed at 30,000 watts for 3 seconds, or the subwoofer is actually rated at 20,000 watts at 3 seconds, but they ran it up to 30,000 watts at 3 seconds, so it can handle that much power for 3 seconds, which is freaking insane. But again, I don't know what you could play it at a daily value. So to start off this list, we're going to start with the DC Level 6 subwoofer. It has an RMS power of 4,500 watts, which is pretty phenomenal for a single subwoofer. It's going to cost you around $904.99 I found on Sonic Electronic, I believe. And all in all, fairly decent sub. The next one on the list is the Sundown Team Series. And actually I have 3 subs at this exact same power rating, but they're listed in not like an all tie for a certain position for certain reasons. The reason the Sundown Team is the first one on that 5,000 watt RMS list is it costs $1,699.99, so $1,700, and is the most expensive out of the 3. On top of that, the only 5,000 watt RMS version of the Team Series is the, let me think for 1 second, is the 18-inch. The 12 is only a 3,000 watt, and the 15 is a 4,000 watt, and so on. 18 is a 5,000 watt RMS sub. The next one on the list is the HCCA SPL series subwoofer with a 5,000 watt RMS and a 10,000 watt peak for a burp. The sub cost roughly $872. I don't have the number right in front of me, so it's hard to tell, but I believe it's $872. And that's the next one on the list. And the last one, topping off the 5,000 watt range, is the B2 X2C 120 pound subwoofer, a 5,000 watt RMS, and a nice price of $1,350. Huge 1,600 ounce, 100 pound ferrous magnet, massive. Subwoofer is incredibly well built, and the reason this one's at the top of my list is not only the 20,000 watt burp rating, or peak rating, peak and burp kind of same thing, but is the 5-inch ceramic voice coil, which they really are conservative with that 5,000 watt RMS. I've heard people saying an 8K amp probably would not blow this sub running on continuous power. Moving down the list, we have an old school sub, a 22-inch MTX jackhammer at 6,000 watts RMS, and the cheapest one of these subs I could physically find was $7,500, and these subs have been around for a long time, and at 6,000 watts they're fairly respectable. But yeah, again, with that price of $7,500, I wouldn't even considered it at this point. There's another site, Online Car Stereo, that sells it for $9,500. It's a ridiculous price, but I mean, a sub at 359 pounds, it's a force to be reckoned with. The next sub on my list is the Ermigerd V1, which is actually discontinued, but you can still find them for sale around. I bought mine personally. I own one of these for $560, and I've seen them listed on the internet, used ones selling for anywhere between $600 and $1,200. All in all, a good sub. I'm running mine on an NS1 6,500 watt, and it can handle that, and it's been handling that, and I really do enjoy it. The next one on my list is another EMF audio, and it's the first sub breaking into the neodymium, and it's the EMF audio YOLO series, which sell for $974. They have a musical version which only plays up to 3,000 watts RMS continuous power, but they have an SPL version which is tested up to 21,000 watts without failure. But I believe that is only a burp test, and I'm not sure about the actual continuous RMS power, but I believe it can keep up with the Ermigerd series, because I think that is the next step up series in their list. And past that, which this might irritate a lot of people, especially if they're EMF fans, is the Digital Design Z series. It's only a 4,000 watt RMS, and the price ranges between $2,000 and $5,000, which is kind of insane for, I mean, it is a Neo sub, but still a pretty intense price. The reason this one is above the EMF Audio YOLO series is mainly because Craig Butler has, I don't know if he's still the world record holder, but I mean, 182 watt system with 4 of these subwoofers. They are a force to be reckoned with. And actually, the next sub down, sneaking in with the last Ferris motor we have, and it made it quite a ways down the list, is another old school sub. This was around when I was first originally buying my first pair of subwoofers, was the Earthquake Holy S. And it comes in at 12 and 15, weighs 112 pounds, and it has a 7,000 watt RMS power rating. And at that power rating, it still only costs $1,299, which is an incredible deal. And yeah, great cooling system in the Earthquake Holy S. And next up on my series is a new brand I actually have not heard of, and it is Alfred Sound Technology. My bad. And they make the Def Bounce series, and their 18-inch subwoofer costs $4,999, or $5,000. And they don't actually list a RMS rating, but the reason I have it down and this low is I talked to a person and they said they run an 8,000 watt RMS power rating on the Neo Series 18, and it has not hiccuped once. And I'm taking that as an RMS power rating that shows a peak rating of 20,000 watts, which is probably for a burp. They probably don't want you playing it more than 3 or 5 seconds at that much power. And then topping off the list, the last sub I have, the most powerful sub I have on my list, is another Alfred Sound Death Bounce. And the reason I picked 2 subs in the same series is they're basically 2 entirely different subs. I mean, it's still a Neo sub, it's still a Death Bounce series, but I think this could have been given its own series. It is a 32-inch Neo magnet subwoofer. And the thing is, you do see 32-inch subwoofers around, but most of them don't have that high a power rating because it is so hard to stabilize and have linear track of a cone of 32 inches, not a cone, but yeah, a cone of 32 inches with surround. And not only that, this has an 8,000 watt RMS, 8,000 watt RMS and a 16,000 watt burp rating, which is phenomenal. It is insane for a subwoofer of that size. And on top of that, it's made of Neo magnets and 26 pounds of neodymium, which is ridiculous. Now the subwoofer does cost you $7,500, but I mean, would you rather have a 22-inch jackhammer or a 32-inch Neo subwoofer that, I don't even know, words really don't describe it. This thing is ridiculous. There's videos of it on YouTube, and I highly recommend checking them out. It is a Russian video, but the amount of flex a single, I mean, it is 32 inches of surface area is ridiculous. It's more than, it's, yeah, a lot. I'm pretty sure it has more surface area than 3 12-inch subwoofers. So, I mean, yeah, it's huge. Yeah, it definitely has more than 3 12-inch subwoofers. It has more than like 5 12-inch subwoofers. But that's my list. I hope you guys enjoy it. If I missed a serious subwoofer that you think should have been on the list, please get a hold of me, let me know, and I will update the list. I'll make a new video and I'll repost it. I did this for fun, and I understand there's going to be some controversy. There's going to be a lot of people saying the Neo subs don't deserve to be on the list this high. And I think as you have to take into consideration is Neo has a way different field than a Ferris magnet. I mean, it works the same, but if you look at a graph of, like if you had a bar of Neo and you watched a graph of force from the top to the bottom, it's way different than if you just had a bar of a Ferris magnet. And there's a reason that even at a lower RMS, they are more powerful subwoofers than a Ferris magnet. And that's why a lot of companies are actually moving to Neo, even though it's more expensive. But again, thanks for watching, and I'll probably make one of these lists every year now. But again, if I fucked up and didn't put a subwoofer you think deserved to be on the list, let me know. And remember, the main thing I went off of was RMS output, which means, I mean, the Earthquake is an old sub, the Jackhammer is an old sub, and it might not have any excursion and not actually have any output, even though you can hook up all this power to it. But last time I'm saying it, thanks for watching, until next time.